What's going on, everybody? How you doing?
Hello.
What's
welcome
up?
to Comic Talk, issue 7. And our special guest is Mel, aka My Killer Podcast. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me. It's not every day I get to talk about something other than movies.
Right, I know, right? Thank you so much. How you doing, Dave? My partner in crime.
Doing good, brother. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I was like, it was touch and go for a second whether I was going to make it, but
Yeah,
I'm here. It's awesome. I'm
it.
glad to be speaking to Mel. Mel's awesome.
Aw, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows she's the final girl, Mel, loves her movies, into horror, but she's also into comics, and that's what intrigues me, because I just want to know more,
Yes,
why
indeed.
she likes them, and just get inside that mind. So
yeah,
this might be a surprise to some people, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah, let's jump through. We got some people already in here. We got Dude Who Loves Movies.
What's
I
up,
hear there's going to
dude?
be Hall of Famer, Killer on the Stream. Of course, he's talking about My Killer Podcast. Then we got Adrian. Hello, everyone.
What's up, Adrian?
Yo, Adrian.
Dominican. Hello.
Dimension. Yeah.
Dimension.
Up Dimension.
Yeah, terrible.
Yep. It's always Dimension.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He schooled me on how to pronounce his name, so.
And then you got Mel up in there.
I did. I popped in there for a second.
Mel's talking to herself. That's fine. I almost did that too. Goes, hey, I'm in the green room, you guys. Come on.
Well, we were just gonna leave you down there.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we'll just leave Dave in the green room. We don't need Dave.
Yeah, right. So, you ready to jump into the first question, Mel?
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
Okay. What was your first comic book you remember reading?
Okay, so the first comic books I remember reading, and this was in kind of early high school. I have them right here. Is the Johnny the Homicidal Maniac comic books.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you guys remember these.
I don't.
So it's basically about Johnny. He's a murderer. It's more like he's exploring being a psychotic murderer, but then he like does these crimes and he keeps getting away with it, and it's kind of like accidental, so it's kind of comedy in a way too. But these were the first ones I like read all the way through. I absolutely loved them. It was in high school, and then but the first comics I ever got in my life, I was really, really young. I was just a squid, if you would say. And I never read them because I wasn't really into superhero comic books, but I have these guys.
Oh my God, I had that issue.
Did you?
Yes, I had that issue. I remember, I don't know if you remember Jack's, that store Jack's. It's kind of around the Eastern Iowa.
Like a grocery store?
It was like kind of like a Walmart. Walmart is now.
I do remember Jack's. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember getting those comics there.
Yeah. So these are my very first ones. Like,
oh, that's awesome.
Total superhero. I don't even know where I got them. Like, I can't tell you where I got them. I've had them my whole life though. I've just been kind of carrying them around with me. But I never read them because, I'm not really into superheroes that much, but
right.
Yeah.
I like that, man. That's awesome. I'm shocked that you still have them after,
I know. Well, I used to have a slew of Mad magazines too. Like I really collected those. That was like my first magazine that I was like, I want to collect this, but I got rid of them, and I'm so sad that I did because I had they were super old Mad magazines that I had. But
yeah, one thing I never got into was Mad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They were just funny little cartoons,
Did you read those, Dave?
Oh, yeah. I love Mad Magazine. I used to have a bunch of those, too.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the ones where you fold the back cover and it made
you got that
image?
That picture within the picture? Okay. Yeah. Oh, that was cool.
I remember the covers, but I just never... my cats go crazy, excuse me.
I can hear him purring.
She's in heat.
Yeah. Oh, I can hear her purring.
Yeah, she talks to me during our show when she's in heat. It's and I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, no, you were talking about Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, and I was like, oh, dude, that started out as a comic strip, in like the early 90s. There was a magazine, I think it was called Carpe Noctem or something like that. And it was like a goth magazine series, and they ran a 1-page comic strip.
Oh my God, did they really?
Yeah, before the comic book like flourished, like in the mid 90s or whatever, is when it actually got rolling. But yeah, like early 90s, 92, 93, it was just a little comic strip in this goth magazine. And it got this huge popularity. So yeah, that was awesome. As soon as you saw it, I was like, I remember that.
Well, that's when I got these two, was in the 90s, and where did I get these from?
Who published them?
I don't even know. It's slave labor, it says.
Oh wow.
Oh, I think I got these from Hot Topic.
Yeah, Slave Labor Graphics.
Yeah, and it was in the 90s. So these are, I don't know if I have first prints of any of these, but these are definitely like second prints of these, because these go for good money now.
Yeah, it was like 95 to 97 was when they ran that.
Yeah. Well, and I used to have the hardcover book too, but I don't know what happened to that. I think I let somebody borrow it and they never gave it back to me.
Give it back? Dang it.
I'm like, that's worth money now. Give it back.
Right. Well, that's awesome. Great picks. So we're gonna go. Oh, we got another comment. What's your favorite comic book artist? Anyone? Mel, since you're the guest,
you're the guest.
With artists?
Oh my God, I don't have a particular favorite artist, I guess.
Is there a style that you like? A particular art style that you like?
Well, I was gonna talk about this a little later, but I really, and I don't have any of these because they're uber expensive and you can't get a hold of them anymore. But this is my favorite artwork of like all time. It's all black and white.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, I'm sure you guys are familiar with The Crow, but it's all black and white, and like, I don't know, just like the artwork in these books is insane. And it's my style. It's Gothic style. It's, I don't know, I'm just really in love with this one, and I can't get my hands on the comics, so I bought this special edition book, and I've actually recently been rereading it. So.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's great that you read them. You buy them and you actually read them, and they don't sit. You enjoy them. You enjoy the art. You enjoy the story.
Yeah, this has literally been sitting by my bed for the last week, because I'll snuggle in bed and I'll start reading it, and then I'll like literally fall asleep like.
Yeah.
Book
That's what I do. That's how I read my comics, is in bed.
Yeah, asleep. That's how I read. It's like
you wake up and it's like
I wake up and I've got like print on my face.
That's awesome.
Okay, question number 2. What is your favorite character and why?
Okay, so we're gonna talk about this again.
Perfect.
I figured The Crow was gonna come back.
Yeah, this is where I was going to talk about this one, but The Crow is definitely my favorite character, just because these books are, at least the first one, I think, I'm sure it's just the first one. It was based off of a true story. So the author of this book actually had a situation in his life that was very traumatic, and he wrote this comic book based off of that. And the story is really beautiful, and it's really sad.
Yes.
And like I said, the artwork is absolutely amazing. Like,
and
that's
pretty good.
Yeah, and the best part about it is it's all in black and white, and it's like, I love me some color comics, like, don't get me wrong, but like just what he was able to do, which is black and white, and like, I don't know, the shading and all the stuff in these comic books is just amazing.
I think it's harder to tell a story in black and white because of all the extra shading you have to do. You don't have the colors popping off the page to like express emotion or set the mood. Because it's a sunny day.
Yeah,
the artist has to work harder to convey the feeling of the book.
Yeah, exactly.
And the inker, the shading's got to be right, and the emotions of the face have to be right.
Yeah, well, and there's even like spreads where like the spread is all in black. So like it's methodical in a way, because like he's making these decisions on purpose. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he's choosing that this whole entire spread is going to be all black, and it's for a reason. When you know, you go like to the next page and it's like, then we're back to a white spread. So, and he does that because all he has is black and white and gray tones to tell his story, and he does it in such a very beautiful way.
Yeah.
Mr. James O'Barr here.
Yeah. I mean, the Crow is to me, it's iconic, you know, and not only in comics, but in film. We had one great film. Everybody loves The Crow. Not so much the sequels.
I actually have the VHS right. Oop, Jesus, right here.
Nice.
I know. I'm gonna break something.
Well, I still have the slipcover, so
yeah. But yeah,
yeah.
the movie is also one of my all-time favorite movies. It's Brandon Lee was all time in that movie. If they would have casted anybody else, it wouldn't have been the same. It was just it was perfect. You know, what happened wasn't perfect, but yeah, the story is just amazing.
That when that movie came out, I loved it so much. I said, if I'm gonna have a kid, I want to name him. If I was gonna have a son, I was gonna name him Draven. Well, that got overruled. That didn't happen. But
that was vetoed, brother.
But hey, I still love that name. I love that character, and every time I get a chance to watch that movie, it's just fantastic every time.
Mm-hmm.
So, anything more you want to say about The Crow?
No, I think that's it. Speaks for itself.
Yeah, no, it does.
It really does.
I love the backstory of The Crow, and that's kind of my favorite part. That whole backstory, even from the movie, which doesn't do the comic book justice. Still really good. But if you've only seen the movie, go read the comic. At least get the origin story, because it is beautiful and tragic and sad, like you said. And I love it. And I think that's my favorite part about the character of Eric Draven and the Crow, is how he kind of came to be and what he does.
Yeah.
It's just
perfect. We got. Did you know that the Crow reboot or something has been in development? Yeah, I did see that.
I think I saw that too.
I think Momoa was attached to it at one point, and he walked away. I don't know how I feel.
They did test shots with him too, didn't they? And
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think they did. They did some test shots. I think I saw something about that. But
I don't know how I
he swam away because he did Aquaman and stuff.
Good choice. No, I don't know. I haven't really seen those movies.
I don't know how I'd feel about seeing if they didn't call.
I don't know if I'd like Momoa in that role. I don't know.
Who are they going to do instead? Was it Bill Skarsgård?
I saw that too.
I think maybe they were going to do him instead. But did they actually land on a person? I don't remember now.
I haven't heard anything in a long time.
Yeah.
I kind of want them to leave it alone. Just leave that first film.
Me too.
Just leave it alone.
I mean, as much as I would like, it still looks like Bill Skarsgård is on there.
What's up, Spicy? How you doing?
Yeah, there's nothing more about it, just that it's in pre-production. But yes, Bill Skarsgård is on there as the star. So it looks like it's still him at this point if they continue with it.
That'll be interesting because he definitely has a different kind of look.
It does.
Than the Brandon Lee. Because like even in the comic books, like the Crow is very dark, very ominous, very muscular, very, like he has a look to him, where Bill Skarsgård generally tends to be more lanky, tall, but he also has kind of a comedic look about him. Even when he played Pennywise, it was kind of like funny in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't that sad,
Oh, he's adorable until he's not.
Yeah. I always found Eric Draven to be sad and charming, not,
just
funny.
I just don't want them to use the character Eric Draven. Leave that alone. Name it something else, because I think that Draven belongs to Brandon Lee. That's just my opinion. I don't think they need to.
Yeah. I'm down for that.
Yeah. So, question 3. It's kind of a simple one. Favorite storyline?
Oh man. Gotta look around here. So as of recently, what did I do with those? Okay, they're here somewhere. I set everything out and then oh, here we go. Okay, so I don't know if do you guys know of the last podcast on the left?
No.
Okay, so it's a podcast about it. Well, it's not about, but it has these three dudes and they talk. Well, it originally started, they were talking like horror stuff, but then it kind of moved into a true crime podcast. But then now it's kind of like they talk about aliens and like, conspiracy theories. They still talk about serial killers, but they made their own comic book and it's called Soul Plumber.
No, I did not know
Okay.
So it's really interesting. It's basically exactly how it sounds. They're like fighting this evil that's like taking over people's souls and stuff. But the storyline, it's funny. I guess if you haven't seen or if you haven't listened to the podcast, it might not make a lot of sense. But it's funny, but it's also dark, because I like my horror to be
Right.
funny. But
And what's
I
it called again?
definitely like Soul Plumber.
Soul Plumber. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Let's see.
this one, I accidentally bought a bunch of the variant covers. So it's basically about a group of guys that are like doing exorcisms and that kind of thing. But it's basically the three guys from last podcast on the left.
So that's right up your alley, Dave.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just funny and it's dark and it's horror, but
Is something current going on now, or is it?
yeah, these are fairly new. I'm pretty sure I got these last year. But like I said, I like my horror to be hilarious. So
Right.
this is just super funny. And I absolutely love that podcast. If you haven't heard it, check it out. Those guys are hilarious. So one of the main guys is Henry Zombrowski. He does some acting. He's like one of those guys that like he's inspired to be an actor, but he doesn't get very many parts. But he's very funny and crude. So I like him a lot.
Nice. The
Yeah,
covers
so-
look interesting. I
know. I bought a bunch of the variant ones by accident. I'm like, I like to buy the original covers, but every once in a while I'll get a variant and then I'll have to go back and buy the original cover. But yeah, so
These
some of
variants
these,
can get expensive.
yeah, they do.
Yeah, you got your 1 in 25s, your 1 in 50s.
Well, and they're a slippery slope too, because it's like you want them because you know that they're limited and you know eventually they're going to be worth money, but then now you find yourself spending a bunch of extra money on comic books where you have like two of the same one and the only difference is the cover.
Kind of like movies.
Yeah.
This sounded all too familiar.
I know, right? They know about us.
Yeah.
They know about us collectors and what they can do to make money off of us.
You know how to get our wallets out of our pockets.
They do. They really
Here
do.
you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Same product, slap a new cover, shiny, hollow foil. People will buy it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Question number 4. If you had to pick one publisher to read, which one would it be?
Well, I'm looking around trying to see which one I have the most of. I'm kind of all over the place. I have a lot of Booms and a lot of Dynamites.
Boom, fantastic. That's one of my favorite publishers.
Yeah, because they're doing Grimm right now. Remember, you told me about this one.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what's funny about Grimm too? Is you told me about it, and then I went to Hawaii, and I was like, "Shit, Grimm is dropping whilst I'm in Hawaii, so I have to find that first issue."
Mm-hmm.
And so we went to a comic book store in Hawaii to get issue number 1, which is this one. This artwork is really great too.
That is pretty cool.
And they didn't have it and I was asking them about it, and they were like, yeah, we sold out right away. And I was like, what do you mean you sold out right away? And they were like, yeah, people were like calling us and asking us about this. And I was like, oh no. So then I got online and I was like trying to find it, and it was like sold out in a bunch of places. So then this is actually what started me on that subscription service.
Oh, that's
So
good.
just to keep getting them, because I was like, oh my God, it took me forever to find the first issue. So I was like, I'm not going to
Did you
miss out on
pay
the rest
over
of them.
retail for that?
I did. For the first one, and then I paid retail for the rest of them, except for I did grab a couple variant covers of this one because I was like, this one's really popular.
Yeah.
So maybe these variants will be worth something, but some of the variants are like really cool. Like this one is it's a foil variant. I don't know if you can see it very well,
I
but
missed it right away. Yeah.
yeah, it's a blank foil variant, and I was like, dang, okay, I'm gonna grab that one because the variants, when you buy them right away, like this one wasn't even that much. It was like less than $10 or whatever for this one.
Good.
Yeah, but I'm assuming like it's gonna be worth a lot more.
It probably
than that.
Will be. Anytime Boom puts out a book, usually it's gonna be a hit because they don't put out a lot of garbage. I mean, they were the publisher behind Grimm. Something is killing the children.
Mm-hmm.
The Seven Secrets. It's Seven Secrets. I think that's what it's called. And
then I haven't heard of that one.
It's kind of a superhero-y book. And then House of Slaughter. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
They got a handful of just really good books that took off right away. So if you want a Boom book, best chance to get it day one. Don't wait.
I know that now. Because I'm still trying to get, like I said, them back issues of Something is Killing the Children, because you also recommended this one to me. You've been recommending me some good stuff, but I had to buy these. It's like the paper. Yeah, because I couldn't get the first ones, and I was like, man, I'm tired of not being able to read these, because I jumped on the subscription at like maybe issue 18. So from 18 on, I've just got all of those. So then from the older ones, I've been having to pick them up here and there, and it's like that first 1 through 8, I just cannot get my hands on it.
Because it's an indie publisher, they don't publish a whole lot like say Marvel or DC do. You'll see them sitting on shelves forever. They do a limited run right away because they never know if it's going to be a hit or not.
Yeah, I was talking to the local comic book store guy because he actually sold me a bunch of them. It was like it was like 7 through 13 or something like that. He didn't have them out on the floor. And I asked him, I was like, do you have any older Something is Killing the Children? And he was like, oh, I don't know. I'll have to go check. And I was like, okay. And he's like, are you looking to read them, or are you collecting them, or what are you looking for them for? And I thought that was kind of a weird question, but I was like, man, honestly, I just want to read them. And he was like, oh, okay. So then he went to the back and he came out with like a slew of these comic books. And he was like, man, I was really waiting to sell these because I wanted to find somebody who actually wanted to read them and not just sell them for more. Because, I'm sure they see that a lot where people try and buy these books for cheap and then sell them, just like they do movies and stuff. Yeah. So, it made him want to sell me them when I told him I wanted to read them.
Well, that's good. And you were honest.
Yeah. So I got some of the older ones I needed out of that. I ended up getting a couple duplicates that I already had, but I was fine with buying them because of just that whole way that went down. I was like, you know what, whatever. Because he wanted to sell the lot. He didn't want to sell them individually, but I was like, you know what, I don't care. Just sell them to me.
You found him, and he was willing to part with them.
Yeah.
I ran into shop owners that are, they're all to make a profit. They're open a business to make money, but you also have very greedy. Some, I'm not saying all shops. Every now and then you'll come across a shop that just marks things up way too high.
Yeah.
And you're like, do I really want to spend money here? But I'm glad he was able to give them to you for a decent price.
I thought that was so funny too, because he was like hiding them in the back. Like,
Colin back there.
yeah, my precious.
Right.
No, you can't have them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I just want to read them. Honest.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
then, he could have easily said, "Here's
Come
the
back
first
when you're done.
trade," but no, he didn't. He said,
Yeah.
"Here's the issues."
Yeah.
And that's
cool. That's when you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's
a
a good
good
owner.
store owner. It's like, I don't want you to turn around and resell them. I want, I want you to enjoy them. I want you to keep them. I want them for you, not for you to like turn around and sell on Amazon or something. And
and that's exactly what he was getting at too, because he knows how much those comics are worth,
Mhm.
and so that's why he asked me that before he even went back to look for them. I'm sure he knew he had them back.
I knew exactly where they were.
He knew.
Oh, darn it, I couldn't find
Wearing
them.
the trunk key around his neck, unlock
That's
them.
I have no idea where that is.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm sorry,
but
we're all out.
So that's why I felt good about just buying all of them, because he's like, here, this is what I have. I have 7 through 13. And I was like, man, I already have a couple of those, but he gave them to me for a really good price. So I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just buy them. I'll take them all.
I'm glad you got 'em, because that book, Dave, I want to get into that book down the road for our breakdown. I really want you to read Something That's Killing the Children.
Yeah, I know you said that before, and I'm totally down to read that. Because Rich has not steered me wrong yet. With anything, he's like, hey, dude, you need to read this. He gave me Nail Biter, loved it. So yeah, I'm down for that.
Mel, question number 5. What's more important to you, the story or the art?
Okay, so this is really, really a hard question. Okay. Because with comic books, it's a lot about the artwork, but it's a lot about the story too. It's not like a regular, novel where, there's no art or whatever. Comic books are based off of the art, and I think the art is really important. If I had to choose, I would have to choose the story, because I'm not down with the books where like the art's cool but the story sucks, but I can get down with a book that has a good story and the art's just kind of so.
Yeah.
So I'll say story, but man, the artwork in comic books are about the art.
Yeah.
Art is almost first, because sometimes you have full
The cover.
spreads that have no words on them.
Yeah.
They're just pictures.
Yeah.
But the pictures tell a story too. So
they do.
It's a tough question, but I'm going to say story.
I agree with you on that. The old me was all about the art, because I started collecting early 90s, and that was just art galore. Who cares what the story was? It was all about guns and chests and just but now you've got these people, these women and men telling fantastic stories, and I enjoy that more than I do the art. But don't get me wrong, bad art will take me out of story really quick. So,
see, I can see that. I'm fortunate that I haven't come across any books that just had art that was that bad that I couldn't still immerse myself in the story, if you know what I mean. Because like the books that come out now, and I'm going to be honest, I buy a lot of newer comics now, opposed to the older ones. There are some comic books that I'm just collecting the older ones, but you don't come across a lot of bad artwork in the newer comic books. So that's good.
That's true.
They kind of get weeded out. I mean, because comic books, the industry itself, is not a very lucrative business. So, you got to be dedicated. And Marvel, DC, Image, whatever, who's ever published it, they want top notch stuff. And Dave, what do you prefer?
Oh, well, you kind of asked me that question when we first started. No, it's story for me for sure. You've got to, the art is what you first look at, and that's what draws you to it, that cover page where you're like, dude, I want to read that. But if you don't catch me with the story, then I'm done with it. I won't I won't pursue it. You got to give me something that I can sink my teeth into. No pun intended. just and just and just enjoy the story, because that's what I want, and that's what I love about The Crow. And like when he got me into The Walking Dead, I was a big fan of the series.
Yeah, I watched your guys' episode, your last episode where you were like talking about The Walking Dead, because I was telling him when he first asked me, I was like, oh no, are they gonna want to talk about superhero stuff? So then I watched that comic talk or whatever, and I was like, oh, they're talking about The Walking Dead. Cool.
I think The Walking Dead is kind of a gateway drug to indie books, even though indie books have been around forever. But Walking Dead is really the one that just exploded, and it's not Marvel, it's not DC. So I think that's just a great gateway drug to indie books.
Yeah, but it was fun. He was worried because it was black and white, and I'm normally not a black and white person, but that's really just movies. I don't mind black and white comics because I think there's just more depth to those. And it really kind of immerses you better when you're dealing, especially if the artwork's really good. That's where you get the shading and the inking, like you have with The Crow. Because I've been collecting since probably dinosaurs roamed the earth, and it's the one that there was a black and white comic called Faust that I was a huge fan of back in the day, and it was a horror comic for sure, because Faust was a demon and he was doing all this kind of stuff, and it was all in black and white, but it was raw, it was visceral, and it was just an amazing read. The story was really good, and it was just a 10-part series, and they ended it. But yeah, I've got that whole collection, and it's still fun to read nowadays. It's just a really cool story.
Nice. Yeah, I've never heard of that one.
Art on the cover to catch eyes, but he needs a story.
Yeah,
I agree. Especially nowadays, especially the price of comics. I don't want to pay $5 to $10 for a 32-page comic, 28-page comic. That's just if the story sucks. So you got to have my attention the first couple pages.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
Because comics are very expensive. Okay. Bonus question, Mel. What comic property would you like to see either developed into a TV show or a movie?
Oh man, that's really hard because a lot of the comics that I read have already been transferred to a movie or TV. Johnny the Homicidal Maniac would be an interesting one. It'd be interesting to have like a Seth Rogen do it, just because he can be funny, but he can be dark too, because that's kind of what Johnny seems like. He seems like he's funny, in a very psychotic way.
I think Seth Rogen did a great job with The Boys.
Yeah, exactly. Just like that.
He's done great with Invincible, the animated series on. I don't know if you've checked it. It's superhero-ish on Amazon.
I haven't checked Invincible, but I'm up to date with The Boys, and I absolutely love that show. I'm super excited about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
He's doing one.
Yeah, I saw a trailer for that. That
looks
interesting.
Yeah.
That's gonna be super cool. I was a little off put about it being animated, but like seeing the way he did the turtles and all the characters, like I'm just super excited about it. The only one I'm questioning is Splinter, because they kind of made him, he's a little weird. He looks a little too young. He kind of has like this mohawk thing. So I don't know about Splinter, but I'm super excited about that. So I think if he did like a Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, that would be interesting. One of the older comics from the 90s that I'm trying to collect the back issues is Evil Ernie.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard about it? Oh my God. Okay. So I haven't read any of these yet because I can't get my hands on all the appropriate ones. But man, some of the artwork for these Evil Ernies is just insane.
No, correct me if I'm wrong. Is that Brian Pilato that does that?
I am not sure. Like I said, I haven't been able to like read any of these yet because I haven't been able to get my hands on like all of them yet. But the artwork is just insane on some of these.
I remember in the 90s that blew up. That was a very hot comic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and
Movie-wise.
it's an interesting story too, because it's about a kid who's kind of abused at home. So he leaves, he meets up with like a lady or something. She gives him powers, but she also wants him to murder people.
You know, I have never read an Evil Ernie comic.
Yeah, neither have I. I looked up the synopsis and I was like, man, this sounds really cool. I'm gonna see if I can go find it. And then I started finding the bundles and I was like, ooh, okay, but I'm finding the bundles in the middle of the series.
Right.
Of course, you know. But they're also coming out with new ones of these. So like
Yeah.
this is this is new, but I'm not sure what this is. Is it a continuation of the story or is
I
it
have
just
no idea.
reprints of the book? Yeah, I wish I had
Yeah.
time to do more of research on
See,
this,
that's a
but
cool cover. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he just looks like a straight rock star. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
psychotic murderer, but
I remember there used to be a comic book magazine called Wizard. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was a price guide for comic books. I'll see, that's awesome.
yeah, see, that's pretty dope.
They used to put Evil Ernie holographic cards in there. They come polybagged and they put Evil Ernie holographic cards in there. All the time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
so
I mean,
cool.
I think he even had his own card series too.
Really? Dang
Yeah.
it. See, I feel like I missed out. So I'm just
See, that's
like,
cool too.
yeah, every time I go to the comic shop, I dive into those dang drawers where you're like
Yep.
trying to
And then you lose
filter
track of
through.
time.
Yeah,
Time
I
just
don't
goes by so
know.
fast.
So it's just this
See,
comic
that's enough. I
series
like that
is
too.
yeah, it's pretty dope. So that one
Yeah.
would be cool, but I also collect the Tank Girl ones, but that's already been turned into a movie.
I would like to see that get readapted. Because the first
Yeah.
movie, it wasn't very good.
You didn't
But it's a
like
product
it?
of its time too.
I liked it.
I've only seen it once.
But it is. It definitely is a product of its time. It came out in, was it the 90s? And it definitely had that 90s charm. But yeah, and the practical effects were
Right.
kind of funny, but it was gritty and stuff.
was.
And I liked that about it. So I have been picking up the comic books for that as well. But yeah, to answer your question very long-windedly,
That's okay.
Johnny the Homicide.
I am going to go. I'm just going to answer my own question. And I'm going to go with something that's killing the children. I am dying to see that adapted. I don't want it to be a movie. I want it to be a long-form TV show, like on Amazon or Hulu, somewhere where they can just get down and dirty with it and not
That'd
like
be awesome.
polish it up and make it look. Because I don't think it needs to be. I don't know the right words. It doesn't need to be. I guess mainstream looking. I want it to look like True Detective or something along that lines, where it's got like some grain to it, because it's a dark book, and I don't want it to look all polished.
Yeah, that'd be cool. They are kind of working on that, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I think they are. I mean, I think they are. I think they're working on some kind of adaptation to it, because I think that's what's driving the prices up of it.
Hey, Dave, you're the research guy. Will you look that up?
Okay, what am I looking up?
Is something killing the children being adapted to? Is your keyboard still working? That's the question.
Oh, my keyboard completely died.
It did?
Yep.
He spilled this last night. He spilled some.
I spilled my soda on my keyboard, and just it was working for a little while, and now I get all kinds of weird letters.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, I if that is they are, that's great.
I think I heard that, so you might get your wish on that one, because I'm pretty sure that's what's driving the prices up right now of the comics, because it's fairly new.
Yeah, the guy that writes it, he's fantastic. He's done.
Yeah, looks like a TV series.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. Nice. I like that.
Does it say a studio
about it? But yeah, it doesn't. You know, got a preliminary cast, but they're not telling me. But But yeah, it looks like they're going to do a TV series. They're doing a TV
That
series
makes
for
me
it.
happy.
Yeah,
That'll be
Yeah.
neat.
that'll be
neat.
dope. Yeah, for
Hopefully
sure.
it's somewhere where they can get money for it to make it look just.
I-
I want it to look just like the comic. I'm sorry, because it's all dark and there's not a whole lot of color to it. So that's what I'm hoping it kind of sticks to that aesthetic.
Yeah, this comic book series has a lot of really amazing covers too.
Mm-hmm.
The artwork is super awesome. Oh, there's my other here.
And I
Super
like
awesome.
the main lead. She's fantastic.
Yeah, she
She's
looks
a badass.
cool too.
Yeah.
You know, to be a female reading the comic books, she's very cool looking.
Okay. I don't know. Hold on here. Is there any? I'm terrible at saying names. Is there any comic books you prefer over TV version or live action movies?
Mm, yeah. So I just started reading these. This is gonna be funny. Have you guys? We just did a Garbage Pail Kids episode. I don't know if you guys.
No, I did not see it. I seen your post, but I didn't watch
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I used to collect those cards. Oh my
it. Me
goodness.
too.
So they came out with this.
Right.
It's the Garbage Pail Kids origin. These comic books are definitely more entertaining than the movie.
Oh yeah. I remember going to Quick Trip and getting those Garbage Pail Kid cards. Oh man.
Did you have some of the cards?
Yeah.
I used to have all kinds of
cards. Yeah.
I am so upset I didn't jump on that bandwagon because how cool would that be to just have like a slew of those cards now?
I think
that
it's
would
actually
be
worth some
so
money,
cool.
I think.
Yeah, I think they're probably
Ooh,
worth a lot
bunch
of
of
money.
And he also asks, or better than the comic. Okay, yes, I guess the same thing.
I guess a TV or live action version that's better than the comics.
Oh, that's better than the comics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
that happen?
No, not very often. No.
I
No.
mean,
I
even
take
the
that back.
Crow, like the movie was amazing, but the comic is clearly better.
The boys.
Yeah. It's like the book versus the movie. The book is almost always better than the movie. Very, very seldom. And it's comic books the same way.
Yeah.
You get so much. I mean, I will go on record right now to say that everything that's done in the MCU, comic books are way better.
Yeah, I agree.
I believe
I
that.
agree 100% with that.
So yeah,
I think the boys, to answer his question, is I read the first 5-10 issues of the boys, and I did not like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was very. It's very childish, if that's the right words. But the TV show, I enjoyed way more than I did the comics. And
The TV show is so sinister.
Yeah,
So
and the way
bad.
Homelander is portrayed better in the show than he is in the comics.
Really?
And that's just my opinion, though.
I've never read the comics or anything like that, but yeah, like the character that he is in the TV show, I can't imagine him being any different because he not only does that actor play that part so perfectly,
He does.
like his face and just everything about him is just absolutely perfect for that role.
I wonder how far of that stretch that is for him. Is he really a dick in real life, or is he
Oh, because a lot of times actors put some of themselves in their characters. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
He looks like he could be a dick.
You said something about being a female reader. Is it hard for you to find characters to identify with? Because I like to find characters in everything I read to identify with. Is that hard for you?
I don't think so, just based off of the books that I have, because like Grimm is a leading lady, something killing the children is a leading lady, Tank Girl is a leading lady. So like I feel like I'm able to find books that I can relate to that have a leading lady, but I'm not one of those people that needs that either though, like I can read these other comic books that don't have leading ladies that, are male driven, and I can be completely fine with that. But like I said, there's enough comic books out there that do have the ladies that I can relate to. I don't know if it's always been that way. Maybe back in the
No,
day there wasn't,
no.
and I
And
would imagine more men were reading comic books back in the day.
back in the day, it was very gratuitous. I mean, you know how the '90s were with the comics, and it was very much like that. And to see books like Some of the Skilled Children, Paper Girls, Graham, and that's the only ones I can think of off the top of my head that have strong female positive characters. You know, there's not, showing, they have to show skin. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Which I think is a good thing.
yeah. Well, isn't there another wait? Where did that other book go? Because I have a hack slash book too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I haven't,
Where's that?
I haven't
I
read that.
pulled that out too because I only have one, and
That's right up your alley.
I know. I'm like, you think I would have more, but
Yeah.
I came across one. I wasn't even looking for it. I just came across it randomly one day, and I was like, oh shit. And it was a good one too. What did I do with it? It's like hack slash an army of darkness or something.
Oh, yeah. She crossed over. And I think
She
did
has done so many crossovers.
Yeah.
It is insane. I
Yeah.
want like all the crossovers, but it's hard to find those
Yeah.
ones. And they're uber expensive. I don't know what I did with it.
Yeah. Hack Slash is, that I think that came out in the mid to late 2010s or something like that. I think Devil's Due published it for a little bit, and then I think Image Comics had it. What it is, I think, if I might be wrong because I've only read one issue, it is a girl who's got attacked by a serial killer, like a hack and slasher, and she's like, "Forget this, I'm gonna go hunt these people." Right? Am I getting it right?
I mean,
I
that's
think
the
that's right.
general
Yeah.
gist of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The girl's name is Cassie Hack, right? And she strikes back at monsters who prey upon teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she was herself a horror victim. And the Hack Slash Volume 1 actually premiered in 2004.
Oh, okay. I was kind of.
So you're close. You're right there.
Dang it. I specifically got that one out because I wanted to show it.
Okay,
Oh,
well,
I'm not going to make you sit here while.
no, that's okay. That's okay. I got 3
It's
recommendations.
okay. Go ahead, Mo. We'll just
Okay. If you don't mind.
yeah.
3
Throwing
hours
stuff.
later.
She better not be throwing comics.
Right.
No, that Crow VHS is next. That thing's gonna be.
Oh my god, yeah. I would die. I would die.
Well, I got 3 recommendations I want to give to you. First one is I recommend this book to everybody because I absolutely love it. It's called Nail Biter.
Oh, Nail Biter. Yeah, you said
Nail
that one earlier.
That's the one. Yeah, I read that and it's killer.
It's good.
It's about this town
I'm gonna write it
that has
down.
spawned multiple serial killers. And
Oh, so somewhere in Wisconsin? Just
Oregon.
kidding.
Isn't it Oregon?
Well,
For anybody who lives. Oh, here it is. Damn it.
there it is.
Oh,
Excellent.
nice. That's a nice cover too. I like the
Yeah.
perspective too.
Good cover.
Well, anyway, this book is published by Image. I highly recommend it. It's 2 people hunting serial killers, and they're trying to figure out why this town spawned so many serial killers. And all the killers are unique. Some of them are kind of funny. Dave, you
Ooh.
really like this book. Would you recommend this book?
Oh yeah, I would.
That sounds right up my alley.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it is too. I hope you can check it out. And this one, I want to recommend to Dave and you, and this is Outcast. I'm going to read the back because it's been a while since I read it. It says Kyle Barnes has been plagued by demonic possession all his life, and now he needs answers. Unfortunately, what he uncovers along the way could bring about the end of life on Earth as we know it. This is by the guy that wrote The Walking Dead, Invincible, and this is a fun, dark book.
That
It's
artwork
about-
looks really sweet too.
It's not black and white, but it's
Oh, it's dark.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great book. the book is over. It's done and finished. I think it's like 48 issues, 50 issues, something like that. Not very long. But this guy, he has. I don't want to tell you. I don't want to tell you anymore because it'll spoil it if you read. Just if you like demon possession.
I do. How'd you know?
Right? Really? Right. That's right up our alley, Mel.
Yeah. Outcast. Read it. It's fun. And then this one is not so much horror, but I love this book, Paper Girls. And this was an Amazon show. Are you familiar with Paper Girls? This was an Amazon show, which I liked the show. I wish they could have done more. The title says it all. They're 4 girls that are paper girls, and they get wrapped up in this sci-fi adventure where they get taken off to the future, to the past, and just hijinks. It's kind of like Stranger Things. I know a lot of people compared the TV show Paper Girls and said, "Oh, they're copying Stranger Things," but this came out first before Stranger Things. So,
is there like a horror element to it?
Kinda.
Because you're comparing it to Stranger Things, that makes me, because you know how they had that like alternate world.
I meant it. I guess we reel that back a little bit. I compared Stranger because it's the 80s, and it's instead of a group of boys, it's a group of girls.
I see. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But I had fun with this book. This is one of my favorite books. It's written by Brian K. Vaughan. He wrote Why the Last Man. Are you familiar with that? Mm-mm. He wrote Ex Machina. And you probably don't know what that is either.
I'm familiar with the movie.
No, I forgot that was a movie, but this is totally different.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, those are my 3 recommendations. If you guys want a good read, I recommend those 3 books. Do you have any recommendations, Mel?
I don't have 3, but I have a couple. So I just recently picked up the new Creepshow series. So this is based off of the new show, the Shudder show. These are
I love those covers.
Yeah, these are pretty awesome. They totally riff on the old show, but the artwork is kind of reminiscent of Evil Ernie a little bit. It has that style to it. These are just fun, cheesy. If you know me, I love my cheesy B horror movies. Little comedy, a little horror. I spoke about that earlier. So these are just super fun. They're readily available. You can get them all right now. Just fun little riff on some horror movies. And then the second one, what did I do with it? I mixed up all my comics when I was looking for Hackslash. Oh. So I'm a big R.L. Stine girl. I have all of the Goosebumps original series books. I just bought this guy. It was R.L. Stine did a riff off of the Garbage Pail Kids. He wrote 3 books. I picked that up.
Sale too.
Yeah, I just got it. I didn't even know that was a thing. And then somebody in one of my live stream chats was like, "Did you know R.L. Stine did some Garbage Pail Kids books?" And I was like, "No." And I was like buying it in midstream. Like, I'm buying this.
Right now.
Yeah. But he started a comic book string here. I think it's just going to be 5 of them, maybe.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so these are R.L. Stine comic books. They're called Stuff of Nightmares. So I think it's just a 5-issue series, but I could be wrong about that. And some of them riff on his Fear Street looking covers. So this is a variant cover. I bought it because I just this is the first one and I wanted to read it and I couldn't find the original first cover. So I bought this one, but this variant cover is really cool because it riffs off of his old book covers.
Yeah.
So these are just fun stories like how he used to write, in comic book form. So
nice.
Yeah, definitely check these out. These are fairly new as well, but like I said, I'm a huge R.L. Stine fan. So as soon as I found out that was a thing, I was like, I'm buying all of those.
Gimme.
Movies with Ryan says, And thank you for joining us.
Hey, Ryan.
Appreciate it.
What's up,
Really
Ryan?
do. I always wanted to see a WetWorks adaptation. If you all remember the '90s comic, I do remember WetWorks.
I remember WetWorks.
Yeah, that would be interesting. It really would. I don't know. I don't even know if that comic's still being published. To be honest.
I don't think
No,
it
it
is.
ended in 2008.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
So thank you, Mel, for picking some great comics that are not DC. I meant to tell you that when we talked. That
Well,
it's not
Soul
superhero.
Plumber is DC. I just want to point that out.
It's DC horror.
DC horror. Soul Plumber's got the DC emblem on it.
Yeah,
it
I will
does?
pick up DC horror. So DC is like, they're not. It's not like a new thing, but they're really amping up their.
Oh, I see it. I didn't even
Yeah.
notice that.
Their
Yeah.
DC horror line. So they're picking up more comic books for this line. So that is actually really cool. So you will see some DC in my collection.
I guess I should have rephrased that. Mainstream superhero comic books.
No superheroes don't. Yeah.
Yeah, because while me and Dave talk about it, we love superheroes, but that's talked to death, you know.
Yeah.
And you don't see much indie love for indie books, and you pulling out the Crow, Hack Slash, and those other books. It was nice to see that wasn't Batman. I got a Batman shirt on. Spider-Man.
Marvel shirt on. We don't like superheroes at all, Mel. It's totally. It's totally
yeah, I'm rocking a Burb shirt. It's not
It's
even
like,
a comic book shirt.
Yeah. I appreciate
I'm
you
not
taking
surprised.
the time. That's really it, guys.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This was really fun to actually get to talk about something other than movies, and I get to show off things that aren't movies.
Yeah,
So
I appreciate you doing
fun.
that. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join me and Dave for Comic Talk.
Yeah, anytime. This was fun.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Anything else? What do you got coming up you want to plug?
Me?
Shameless plugging, go.
I know. I always get asked this, and then I forget everything that I have going on.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I usually just drop a video a week on my YouTube channel. If you want to check me out at My Killer Podcast.
Yeah, your link is in the description. So guys, go
thank
check it out.
you.
I'm sure everybody knows who you are.
Maybe, I don't know. But I do live streams a lot with my homies, and I usually just put those in my community tab to let everybody know where I'm going and where I'm hanging out and who I'm hanging out with for the night.
Dave, do you got anything coming up?
Well, you know me, always got something coming up, but yeah, and unfortunately, my horror podcast, Spirits with Spirits, is not going to be showing this weekend because it's Easter. But we will be coming back on the 16th talking about our, cryptids from Australia. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then, of course, we have our By the Numbers series, which is on Wednesday night, where we're going to be talking about a few movies, including Marlowe and the Dungeons and Dragons movie. We're going to be looking at that. So that'll be fun.
I'm looking forward to talking about that Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Oh, yeah. And you and me on the 27th, we're going to be talking Batman, Court of Owls.
It would be me, you, Alex, and Harrison. Really old movie.
Harrison, yeah.
Oh,
thanks, Dimension.
Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate everybody.
Yeah.
So that's it, guys. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you
have
guys.
a great night.
Thanks, Mel.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Talk to you guys later.
All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
See ya.